Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Nah, I'm just playing. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Luckily for me, I have a loving girlfriend, and she asked me what I wanted to do for Father's Day, and I said, work on my truck. So she said, go for it. Spend Saturday down there, do all you want. We get you Sunday though, so I'll take it. So today we're gonna take care of the back of the frame. Finally got the pipe in. We're gonna start redoing all the cross members, get the fuel cell back mounted again, get rid of all the factory big old heavy cross members, and lighten it up, strengthen it up at the same time. Make the new brackets for my adjustable shocks, which those haven't came in yet. I'm still trying to figure out which ones to buy actually, but once I get these bars in, then I'll be able to figure out exact lengths, and we can go from there and get some shocks on this thing, and the roller will be completely ready to go. Well, it's actually more than a roller. It has everything but a motor in it. Still waiting on a pump, but it'll be well worth it when it shows up. But yeah, let's get down to this frame. There'll be a lot of time lapse on this video. I figured it out this time on the GoPro, so it'll definitely be a time lapse, not another 45-minute video. But yeah, I'll get you guys on time lapse while we're grinding everything, cleaning it up, measuring pipe, getting it tacked in there, making sure everything's copacetic, make sure everything's level, square, and we'll get this thing all welded together. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is, you can see here, I actually did get all my disc brake stuff all hooked up, spliced up. This side as well, all reflared. Got the stainless braided lines on. I have to tack these on yet, but I wanted to do that when I had the welder over here, and I'm welding up these bars and what have you, so I can just do it all at once. I also need to relocate that shock mount to the rear of the axle, just like the old driver's side here, so then I can do both my shocks on the rear of the axle, straight up and down like all the fast race trucks. If I'm not going to go fast, I'm going to at least look like it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. The first thing is, I'm going to undo this bracket, and we're going to end up cutting the line right here, so I get this nut off, and we're going to see how far I need to come up, rebend it, and I will probably end up completely modifying this bracket too, right here. Re-weld this up here to make this shorter. Since I lowered the truck so much, there's so much extra slack with this that I can come forward and up with it and redo that. And the reason I need to do that is, you look right here at the shocks, it's daggum close, and that's about right where I need the pipe, is right here, just behind the diff cover there, straight across, and that'll run right into that bracket. So we're going to move that forward, and who knows, I might even tack this to that bracket on the front side, and that might honestly be the way to go. Just cut this, reflare it maybe on the straight side, so it'll come in like this. When it's welded to my bar, it comes straight out, pork right into the side, put my flex line right into it. Damn, you guys give me all the great ideas. I didn't think of that till I was telling you guys about it. But it looks like there's plenty of room, but once you get a pipe in here and some shocks, that thing's just gonna be a pain. Plus I want to mount my fuel cell in here, so honestly what I think I'm gonna do is end up cutting this line about here, move my flare nut up here, reflare it, get my cut this tab off right here so I can use this, tack weld that on. We'll make sure that's all copacetic, and then weld that to the pipe, and that'll relocate this, yard that out of the way. I got all this cleaned up. I need to clean up the inside yet where I'm welding my pipe, but I needed to move this brake line and move my battery cables and taillight wiring, yard that out of the way, get the inside all cleaned up, same on this side as well, right there, and we will get to welding in some pipe. Alright, so as you guys can see, I did figure out the time lapse. I told you I got it this time. But I figured I'd show you guys the in-betweens. So luckily on these Chevys, they put this break in the line right there so you can remove the rear section of your line. So I just did that for now to get that out of the way. Got the brackets off. Starting to get her cleaned up a little bit. Got the wire brush so I could get inside here. Get all that cleaned out. Starting to get along the bottom. Because like I said, I'm trying to make this thing nicer finally. I always told myself that I would make it look good once it ran good. And I figure it's earned that by now. So the whole frame, inside and out, cleaning it up. I'll get back here once I get this big old honker out of here. But getting her all cleaned up. Work on that just a little bit more. Still got to do this yet. Get the old aerosol overhaul out of there. And then we'll go measure some pipe, cut it out, and get her tacked in here. And then I will use some flat stock and just tack it across this very back part of the frame. So it'll stay square right here by your spring perches. And then we'll finish yarding this bad Larry. Get the rear, we'll get the fuel cell in first after I get this pipe tacked in. We'll get the fuel cell up, figure out, that will then dictate where this rear pipe will go, because I'm going to mount the fuel cell on the two pipes, get that in, and then that'll leave me room back here for a, I don't know if I'm going to go with a traditional style hitch or a drawbar hitch, maybe a hybrid of both of them, but that will give me plenty of room. Hopefully, I'm hoping the pipe will be about here or so. That'll give me plenty of room back here to figure out a hitch. But let's get this finished, cleaned off, and we'll go cut some pipe. Alright, so that time lapse makes it pretty handy. What took me probably 45 minutes, you guys will probably see in about a minute and a half, but got the old cross member out, got these tacked in. I want to tack everything completely. I want to tack my fuel cell brackets, I want to tack all this in. I really want to do my tack my shocks in, but I think I might just do the fuel cell and everything, and then I still need to cut that guy off, flip it around. So I think I'll finish weld all these bars in and the fuel cell mounts and everything, get that all copacetic, and then I will flip this around, weld that onto the axle, and then do my shock tabs, which will come straight off the bottom of here, because I want to go with the nice short adjustable drag shocks. So I did these straight above the mounts here. That way I can use the shortest shock that I can and still have plenty of... I mostly want down travel because this thing fucking... Oh, pardon my French. This thing just squats down and it doesn't really come up. So the shock will be almost extended out all the way, mounted up at ride height. I'll have maybe an inch and a half of up travel, but it'll all be down travel, which is what I need to use the compression and rebound for, is the down travel. Well, rebound for the up too, but yeah, it looks great. Burnt the gosh darn out of my hand. You guys have seen that time lapse with the plasma, but the plasma made quick work of cutting those rivets out so I could get those out, those brackets here. Just plasmaed those out, air hammered what was left out. Boom, boom. Worked out great. But I will go, I think I'm going to use some angle iron to go flat against this and then angle out this way. It'll just give me a lot of weld and a lot of strength right here. Which, I mean, it's just a aluminum 15-gallon fuel cell, but it'll give it a nice saddle to sit in. So I'm going to cut some 2-inch wide pieces of angle iron, 4 of them for my pedestals here, and I'll bolt them to the fuel cell, sit it where I need it, tack them, and then pull the fuel cell back off. We'll get her welded up and weld the bars in. But I love it. I can't wait to measure all this stuff, the shock brackets, all that stuff that I've taken off. And I know this pipe is super light. I went with 1.5/8 083 wall, which I talked to a lot of guys, like a friend of mine, Brad Sankey, and a few other race guys, and they all recommended the 1.5/8 083 wall. Plenty of strength, but still light. And we're gonna go from there. But let me go cut out some pieces of angle iron, and I will show you guys that once we get the fuel cell tacked in and ready to go. Dang, look at that. So I know I said I was going to use some angle iron, but what I ended up doing, it was a little bit easier, and I feel like it'll have a little more structure, maybe a little more support, is last year I had these pieces of flat strap. They ran all the way across the frame this way, and that's what the fuel cell sat on sideways. So I took them, bolted them back up, and like you can see the old holes from last year, and those are the new holes that I welded nuts to the bottom of the thing just for ease of maintenance. I bolted that all up to the fuel cell, used the jacked it up into place, measured side to side, made sure it was all copacetic, tacked those in, took it out, welded everything up. Everything on the sides is all welded up. These are welded in, and that's how she sits. I love it. Everything's nice and square. It mounts fuel cell further back and lower to help with weight distribution, and hopefully with launching on top of the adjustable shocks, better weight transfer, and it looks great. Now I just need to, it'll probably be a tomorrow project, or not a tomorrow, another day project. Cut that guy off, move it to the back side, fabricate mounts for the top. Once the other shocks show up, I can bolt it all together, bolt them into the bottom, bolt the mounts to the shock, set it in place, tack them in, pull the shocks out, weld all this back together, and then I'll have my shock mounts in. And then once I do that, then I'll know where I have room to run my brake line, whether I need to move it back up in the frame here, or if I can, like I said, try and put the bracket up here on the frame, or on my new crossmember bar, and then rebend the line to come kind of parallel to this bar here, put my tab maybe like here, run my flexible line up, and Bob's your uncle. It's got brakes, it's got new cross members, wham bam, thank you ma'am. I did not get to tack those in yet, but I kind of wanted to leave those loose so I can bend these brake lines out of the way of shocks, and I wanted to move this one up so I can weld that mount in first. So I decided to leave those brake line mounting tabs out of the way, not welded on yet, so I can unbolt that, move all those out of the way, and do the shock mounts. So I figured that was made pretty good progress for today. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Finally got a chance to do it. Took a Saturday and busted this bad Larry out. Like I said, shocks, and then the rear is done. Once I get those shock tabs welded up, do the brake line, weld those brake tabs to the axle, and it's ready to go. Once I get it on the lift is when I will do the spool in the rear. I don't remember if I told you guys that I was doing a spool in the rear, but shout out to Revolution Gear and Axle. They hooked us up with a spool for the rear of the 14 bolt. Shed even more weight there, get rid of the limited slip, which will end up going in the dually tow rig. And it'll be ready for all the boosties and all the burnouts and all the shenanigans. So that will happen once it's on, engine's in it and running, and I can drive it on the lift. We'll slap the spool in. That's not detrimental to the running and driving of the vehicle, but we will get to that point once it's running, driving on the lift. And sorry it's been so long since I've posted, guys. I've just been busy at work, and I know it's kind of repetitive, but waiting on parts and been working like a slave. So finally got it up, got this part done. Can get some shocks ordered now that I have measurements, and I can finish up the back of this. And then the next part left is slap an injection pump in this motor when it shows up. Slap the heads on, slap the motor in, and get the new fuel pump mounted, which will probably be the next video, so I'm really excited to show you guys that. If you watched my most recent podcast, then you will know what pump I am putting on it. If not, I guess you'll just have to wait to see the next video. But then it'd be plumbing the new fuel pump, getting rid of the FAS. I love the FAS, but it's just not going to support what I need it for on this pickup, so that will also be going on the tow rig, the dually. Also have one on my Duramax, Fast for Life. And yeah, get the fuel system plumbed now that the fuel cell's mounted. A lot of it was just kind of, can't do one part until I have parts to do the next part, and you got to wait on parts for that part, and you just have to do it in order to do it right. And I would rather do it right the first time than have to cut stuff back off and re-weld it, or have to buy another one because I made it an inch too short because I didn't have it exactly where it was going to be. So I'd rather it be done right the first time and have to wait a little longer. And I think you guys will too once you see this thing just ripping. But I think that's all I have left for you guys today. Got to get going to a family dinner, but like and subscribe. I was looking at the analytics, and there's 74% of you guys that are watching my videos are not subscribed. Those are rookie numbers. We've got to pump those up. Well, down, I guess. We need to get them numbers down. We need to swap to subscribe. So if you guys could please subscribe, leave a comment, like it, hit the bell so you can always see when the new videos are coming out. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.